Hey, what's up everybody? Rob Swanson here. Hey, listen, I'm about to cut this video over to a recording that I recently did. I was at a live event and I spoke to a room of about 150 people or so, and I told a story of a health challenge that I had about 5 years ago at the time that I'm recording this and putting this out live. And I want you to follow this and I want you to get this out of it. A man who has no wealth has 1,000 wishes, but a man who has no health has just one. And I can't tell you how true this is. And in the video that is about to start, I'm going to break down 3 things that were absolutely critical to when my business was essentially taken away from me, meaning I got so sick that I wasn't able to work in the business. My ability to do the business was stripped from me, and I had no choice in the matter. My business was set up because of 3 things that allowed the business to continue, allowed me to get healthy, come back, and still have a business here today that is better than when I started, healthier than when I started, and going forward in a trajectory that is steeper than when I started. And so I want you to hear why. I want you to hear how. I want you to hear the story and dive into this. And I really want you then to reflect and ask yourself, is your business prepared? Are you prepared in your business if you could no longer work your business? That's what this story is about. It's 3 things that I had done in my business prior to getting sick that made all the difference. Take a look.
Hi, my name is Rob Swanson, and if you love the idea of designing your life, you're in the right place. This is the show about money, business, and life to get you motivated and help you navigate the road to freedom. Whether you want to start a new business, invest in real estate, or just sit back and reap the rewards from passive income, I'm here to help you achieve freedom in all areas of your life. So now, sit back and enjoy. This is the Freedomcast.
Some of you know me, some of you don't. I've had a chance to shake some hands over the last couple of days and get to know some of you. I've been around this business for a long time. I guess I would say that I'm in that middle tier of generations that have been around this business. Got into the real estate and then education business through the seminar product cycle back in the late 90s and just kind of took it from there. Here we are standing on stage talking to you. I'm going to tell you a story about how the last 5 years of my life were the most challenging 5 years I've ever lived. And I went from a place of, gosh, I was at the top of health, finance, family, business, to holy crap, what's going on? And we're going to get into that in a second. Because everything that was talked about yesterday, all of the individual presentations and speakers, I'm going to bring full circle today and show you a scenario. Some of you guys have been through things like this, but a scenario that I had zero control over that forced me to lean on all of the things you heard about yesterday. Okay? And what I want you guys to take away from this, and we'll talk about it, is what are you doing in your business today to be set up if something happens? Now, a little side note, as Lee was talking yesterday, he described the type of person that he tries not to hire. I'm standing in the back, and at dinner, I got poked several times and said, "Did you hear that? Lee would never hire you." So I just thought that was kind of funny. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm not looking for a job. No, that's awesome. It was, so here's what I want to do, guys. I want to talk about how to build a business that makes you money, supports your family, and builds your wealth, whether you're working or not. And the reason I want to talk about that, that's not to pitch you that there's this shiny object that you can go get. It's to say there are some things you can do and set up in your business today that if something happens to you, your family's taken care of. And so in October 2014, I went to the dentist. How many of you guys go to the dentist? Yep. I went to the dentist just like every good kid should. And I ended up getting a routine cleaning, and I got a MRSA staph infection at the dentist. So they're cleaning my teeth, and they cut the gums, and there's a little bit of blood, and whatever happens there, I got a MRSA staph infection. Now, I don't know if you guys know what a MRSA staph infection is. MRSA is resistant to antibiotics, resistant to any drugs that would naturally kill that bacteria. It went in through my mouth, down over about a week to 10-day period of time, hit my gut, and then just blew up. How many of you guys have ever had a canker sore in your mouth? You know how painful that is? And it just kind of sets you off for a couple of days? Well, that was my colon for about 4 years. Okay? Extremely painful, really bad. So I'm telling you that, and I'm going to spare you all the details, but I used to be around the JV world. I used to promote with you guys, JV with you guys, help you guys, support you guys, do all this stuff, and I disappeared off the scene almost overnight. And so that was not my choice. I was forced to do that. In 2015 and 2016, I almost died twice. Now, fortunately, and this is a side conversation, I won't get into this, the doctors could never figure out what was wrong with me. I didn't tend to normally go to the doctor. I normally tried to fix things holistically, and I ended up going finally to the doctor and say, man, there's something wrong with me. Their response was, no, there's not. I said, yes, there is. I figured it out holistically, treated it holistically. That's another story. If you're interested, we can have that conversation. But I want to say this, and I put the jet up here for 2 reasons. Number 1, because jets are cool. Number 2, I just recently got my private pilot license. Can't fly a jet. But this is what I want to say. A man who has no wealth has 1,000 wishes. A man who has no health has just one. The only thing I cared about was getting healthy. The only thing I cared about was getting healthy. I didn't care about calling some of you back. I didn't care about doing a JV with anybody. I didn't care about going to an event. I didn't care about speaking. I only cared about my family. Are they going to be protected, taken care of, and getting healthy? That was it. And so I stopped working March 2015, and I was pretty much out for 2.5 years. I did nothing. Now, some of you know the story. I ended up buying Freedomsoft in March of 2015. I got sick in October of 2014. Guys, that's 5 years ago to this month. I got sick October 2014. I bought Freedomsoft March 2015. The day I closed, I had enough energy to get out of bed, get up, sign the closing documents, send it off, and that was it. I was done for the day. I thought I was dying of cancer because I didn't know what was wrong with me at that time. And so from that point on, I was pretty much out for about 2.5 years. Now you can look back and I would show up on social media here and there, but I didn't go to any events. I tried to put out a face just to stay somewhat relevant, but I lost all creative thought. I'm a pretty good sales guy. I'm a pretty good copywriter. I'm a pretty good offer creator. I'm a pretty good business guy. I lost it all. My brain simply didn't function. I couldn't think, couldn't come up with anything creative, and I just had a fog for 2.5 years. So I went from the best shape of my life. The day I got sick, I was actually trained up and ready to run a 100-mile ultra marathon. Over the next 30 to 60 days, I went to thinking I was dying from cancer. Now, what's interesting about that whole process is I'm at the top. I had no choice. It was all taken away. So I want you guys to really think about that. This is not to be Debbie Downer. This is really to encourage you to say, what are you doing in your business to form things up, shore things up, and make sure that you and your family are taken care of. So by 8:30 in the morning, after getting sick, I was done. I'd wake up, try to do something, and it was over. I lost all energy, brain fog, took everything away. I was creating products. I was doing a whole bunch of stuff prior to that, and I hadn't created a product in about 3 years until now this year. So it really, really takes you out when it takes you out. Here's the thing, and I know I've got to keep moving here because I got a short amount of time. One thing saved my family and I. Now, how many of you guys can think what that might have been? God, real estate, residual income, cash flow. One thing saved my life. Not literally my physical life, but my financial life and my family's ability to live when I stopped working. And it was cash flow. And so I want to encourage you guys to look in your business. If you're a transactional person in your business, how can you create residual income inside of a transactional business if you're transactional? Many of you guys are real estate guys. You get the power of financial freedom through residual income and cash flow. I don't have to sell you on that. I don't have to convince you of that. But take stock. How are you doing with that? Really think about it. So 3 streams of cash flow. Real estate, all of us. Subscription software. Now, I had built 5 software applications prior to acquiring FreedomSoft. So I had subscription software-based revenue prior to FreedomSoft. Bought FreedomSoft through this early getting sick phase, added that into the portfolio, and finally automated sales funnels. I've talked to guys in this industry for years, guys that have built up big sales floors, guys that have scaled down their big sales floors, and the one consistent message that I've always heard from them, from a regulatory compliance side, from a margin side, from a babysitting people side, if you can control your sales script in an automated fashion and figure out how to sell, whether you're sleeping or awake, working or not, you can win. And so I had sales funnels that just sold. And the same sales funnels that I built in 2012, 13, 14, when I got sick, I just let run. I didn't touch the products. I just figured out how to drive traffic to it, hired people, said, I just need you to send traffic here. And that kept making me money. Now, a couple of things that I want to point out, and I've got really 3 takeaways for you that we're going to get into. Multiple cash flow streams don't solve everything. Because what happens to cash flow streams if nobody's paying attention to them? They wither away, right? Whether it's a house that goes vacant and you have to rehab it and re-rent it out, even managing the manager, there's effort involved in keeping income streams going. Someone still has to run the business. And so this is where the conversation from yesterday turns into the conversation today. If there's one thing I want you guys to take away from this presentation and our talk today, it's this. Don't ever let yourself get comfortable that your business with you is invincible. The time to create systems in your business to survive and thrive if you're forced to stop working is right now. Don't get comfortable. Put the systems in place. We're going to talk about those 3 systems that, fortunately, I had put in place prior to getting sick and being forced out of my business. I didn't choose to step away from my business. I had no choice. 3 crucial things that you need. Number 1, A players. You got to build a team of A players. Get people around you that can support and grow your business, whether you're there or not, right? Now, some of you, and Lee did an amazing job on this yesterday, talking about how to identify this, how to put this together, who this is, how to structure it. I'm going to give you a couple of things. We got really good, and Jason Medley did a great job of talking about this yesterday. Prior to getting sick, I had clearly defined our core values, what we as a business stand for and what we stand against. Who are we trying to attract to our business to come alongside and be a part of it? right? And so we built our core values. We developed a brand. We wrote down those core values, and we attracted people. We attracted A players. I don't believe that you create a culture. I believe that you define and then hire a culture. So you have to decide what your culture is, and then you will attract those people, and that culture will take form when the right people that believe the same as you join your team. So always be recruiting. As a business owner, your job is to come into an environment like this in the grocery store, no matter where you are, and always be recruiting. Look for the A-player talent that can join your team. Some of you have bigger teams than me. Some of you have smaller teams than me. We have a team of about 10. We've gone from as high as maybe 17 to 18 people. We've been smaller. We've got a core team right now of about 10 people that run the various components of our business, the media company, the software company, the real estate business, and we franchised our business a couple of years ago. And so those all get run by about 10 people. Now, and I will show you guys this, I'll go back. I did buy from Preston, Real Estate Mogul, about 4 months ago. I had no interest in it. And then I got interested in it. And then I bought it. And so we've rolled that into the brand from a content and education platform side. Say yes more often. How do you recruit people? Too often, and I'm guilty of this, people want to just take you to lunch and pick your brain. Now, there are the times that you should just say no. There are certainly those times. But I'll tell you, I have found in my personality, high D, driving, type A, everybody wants something from you all the time. You guys get it. I always said no. And I told my wife one day, you know what? I think I'm just going to start saying yes and see what happens. I started saying yes, and I'll tell you what, guys, you meet amazing people. Just say yes. So say yes more often. The number 2 thing that I want you to think about is create better systems and processes. So number 1, get the right people attracted to your business, right? I'm kind of known as the lifestyle shorts and flip-flops guy. It's just my brand. It's what I do. It's what I like, right? It's snowing in Denver right now. I'm supposed to get on an airplane tomorrow, go home, and I don't have any closed-toed shoes. I literally don't. And I was packing for this trip. My wife looked in my bag and she said, "Aren't you speaking?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Like, you just have shorts and T-shirts and flip-flops in there." I said, "Yeah, I'm good." And now it's snowing in Denver. Create better systems and processes. So a pro tip on this, guys. How many of you have a small team or a team of people that work with you? Okay? If your team is in the room, I'm going to give away the candy. But here's what it is. I went to my team and I said, team, got them into the conference room, said, "Hey, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to do a little contest. And we're going to do this contest for a week, and we're going to come back in our meeting next week, and whoever does the most stuff in this business, I got a $100 bill for you." So what I want you to do over the next week is write down a bullet list of everything you do every day. And whoever does the most gets the $100 next week. So what do you think everybody's doing? They're writing down every single thing they do. We come to the next meeting the next week, and I say, "Okay, let's take a look at everybody's list." So we put all the lists out, we find out who does the most, we give them the $100, and I said, "Okay, now, next week, what I want you to do is take your list, and I want you to write down exactly how you do it." Okay? Guess what I got in 2 weeks' time? A complete operations manual. Okay? From the team. Now, if you don't have a team, as I think Lee said yesterday, the first team member is an operations person. Get an operations person that can help you identify the things that need to be done in your business so that when you start to attract and hire, those things are created. I can't create that stuff. I'm a visionary. I'm a sales guy. Makes me from a prior life, I'm an engineer, so I'm a weird mix. I can do spreadsheets, but it really makes me painful to think about processes. So in 10 days or less, I got all of that stuff written. Here's what that ends up with. And it's funny because I had no idea that what I put together was sort of a supporting, like real life, why does it matter? Why does the yesterday's presentations matter? Because I got sick and got forced out of my business. Create your company's how to win at my job playbook. Take the roles in your company and show the people how they win. You know what people want? You know what employees want? They're not driven necessarily by more money. Some of them are. They're not necessarily driven by the same things that drive you. They're driven by wanting to know how to do their job well and win. And then show them when they win. Tell them that they win. So create your company's how to win at my job. This is our hiring process map. And just for reference, so you guys can see how we created all of our process maps, we have process maps for everything. And in each box, they link, if you were on our online, they link to then an operations manual page and paragraph. So everything is described how you do in each box, and it's color-coded by who does it. And so blue is executive assistant, red is the general manager. So we've got identified who does what, and then when you click on it, how to do it. Build a calendar, your KPIs, and your scoreboards. Because again, people also need, if you look back on our core values, I didn't talk about it, but one of our core values is hold and be held accountable. So if you don't believe in being held accountable, me included, my team holds me accountable sometimes, and sometimes I do it right, sometimes I do it wrong, and if I do it wrong, I got to own up to it. Meaning if I didn't get my work done, if I didn't do my job, right? So hold and be held accountable is a piece of our culture. So we build our scoreboards, our KPIs. Here's why this is important. The calendar tells your team when to do something. Okay, I wasn't there. They knew when to do it because we had a calendar. The KPI says, what do I have to do and how much of it? And the scoreboard says, did I do it? And it's transparent to everybody in the company. So when you've got a calendar, KPIs, and a scoreboard, it's like I get to shut up and they get to go do their job. Because I don't have to tell them what to do every day. It's laid out. We do this on Monday, Tuesday, like we build the calendar, and it's not just a calendar of, oh, our event is November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. That's part of the calendar, but the calendar is what does each job do on a regular daily operational basis. Okay? So KPIs, calendar, KPIs, and scoreboards. Train, measure, and improve your team's skills and regular execution. I'm going to talk to you about some of the ways we do that. So in our real estate business, which is no different really than our training, education, media company, but I just took a screenshot of one of our logins, our training logins for the real estate side of the business. So an acquisitions and a dispositions training course. So when somebody onboards with us, the first thing we do is we give them a login to our company training vault. They log in, they have their job portal that they click into, that they have access to, and we have trained them how to do their job. So it starts with us training them how to do their job. Now, in addition to that, I want you to see over here, we have quizzes, okay? So I can teach it to you. I can't understand it for you. So I need to understand and know if you've retained and learned what I've taught. So we built quizzes into all of our training. So somebody goes through a training module to learn their job, they take a quiz on it, and we can see if they understood it. Okay? And then finally, improving. So this goes training, measuring, which is the quizzes, and then improving. Now, improving is you have different ways, and I'm going to talk kind of about a sales team here. But what we built for our sales, the sales functions in our organization, is a game. We gamified sales training. And the reason we did that is we wanted to make sure that we could objectively measure someone's skill and proficiency at sales. Not just you're not doing it right, or you're not closing hard enough, or you're, right? We wanted to objectively measure their success. So we built scorecards around scenarios. So in the real estate world, for example, we've got acquisitions, dispositions. Do the same thing in coaching sales, product sales. But what we built is 30 scenarios for acquisitions, 30 scenarios for dispositions, 30 scenarios for coaching sales. And then we created a scorecard. We took our script and we said the perfect execution of the script, because by the way, guys, pros use scripts. You know that, right? Pros use scripts. Amateurs get on the phone and say, I'm just going to feel the conversation out. Pros use scripts. So we follow our script, and we built all of the scenarios, and it turns out that we have 100 points on our game scorecard right here, depending on what role you're playing, acquisitions, dispositions, coaching, sales, whatever, you can get 100 points. And you don't get live leads until you can consistently score 80% in a role play scenario in the game consistently. And if at any point you turn your brain off, and as you train and do a role play, you start to drop below that, now you should execute in the 90s consistently. And so we also have all of our calls recorded. The team uses FreedomSoft, so we record all of our calls. And we've got a VA that goes and listens to them and scores random live calls on a regular basis. Takes our game that we use for training and then goes and scores live calls because it's all objective. They either did it or they didn't. They either followed the process or they didn't. So you get a score of 60, 70, 80, and every little checkbox is 3 points. So you can see that there's a lot of things that we track somebody through in the sales cycle. This, from a sales standpoint, is the single most revolutionary thing that we've done in my business to track, monitor, and improve sales. Bar none. We gamified the process. Guys love doing it. And then it gave us the ability to take a VA and say, hey, here's the scorecard. Go listen to these calls. See if they do it. So it's funny, a guy that'll score 95 in a training environment will go score an 82 in a real world scenario. He gets to see the difference and improve. It's pretty cool. Number 3, automate and control your sales processes where possible. So certainly, guys, if you choose not to be in the business or if you're forced out of your business, you have to have other people doing the business. So you've got to recruit, bring the right people on, you've got to train them, you've got to lay out and hold them accountable. And number 3, you've got to automate and control the sales processes where possible. Somebody said it yesterday. I don't remember who said it. Somebody said it yesterday that if a sales guy doesn't make the sale over the phone, the salesperson can send them to your automated funnel for a reduced commission. Perfectly great. That's what you want. Get people into the message that you've created, the sales that you've perfected the process, and let your automated funnels do the selling for you. Now, to do that, you guys have learned yesterday how to get traffic, how to build funnels, and I think you're going to learn more of that today. How to build all of this automation. Here's something that I say a lot. My team hears it. It's consistent with our core values. One of our core values is simplify everything, do more with less. Now, somebody could hear that and say, you're just trying to get people to work harder and make you more. No, simplify everything. If you can do your job more simply, if you can simplify your job, if you can do things faster, more efficient, better. You know what I care about? The result. You know what? And this is just my culture. If you get your job done and are hitting the results and exceeding, because I bring in the right players, where we're all striving for excellence, right? We want to serve our customers well, and we want to grow the business at margin. We don't want to scale for the sake of scale. We want to scale for the sake of margin. Okay, so if we're serving our customers and growing and scaling the business, guess what? If you got your job done and you did it with excellence, and you need to go take your kids to the ball game at 3:30 in the afternoon, see ya. That's great. I want you to be a part of your family. So simple, keep your business simple. Can you simplify things inside of your business? This is what I fortunately had thought about before I got sick. Simple. If it's simple, you and someone else can do it. If you build a system around it, you and someone else, guess what? Will do it. And then if you get out of the way of that simple system, your business can scale. And that's the whole objective. So I got sick. I stopped working for 2.5 years. I literally didn't do anything really in the business. And my business continued to grow because I had all of the things that I just shared with you guys here today. I listened yesterday, presentation after presentation after presentation, and I thought, wow, that's exactly my presentation wrapped up in all these different conversations bent around a real life scenario that I had no control over. So thank God that I did it. So I'm going to leave you guys with this. Think about, how do you build these types of things into your business? I'm going to be here all day. I don't fly out back to Denver until tomorrow. If you want to talk to me about any of this stuff, just tap me on the shoulder. We'll chat. I love talking about this stuff. Matt, Ross, thanks for putting this thing on. It's been awesome. Great job. Thanks, guys.